Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this Saturday we have Psyvariar Delta, the recent remake to the 2000 Success Classic. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. The second shoot 'em up to be recently remastered by City Connection, Psyvariar Delta follows after Success's 2000 title Psyvariar. So as we press start and dive into the menu itself, we have a couple modes we can potentially play the game in. There's a score attack mode, a replay mode where you can watch your replays and then challenge those scores as well, practice, and normal game, which is what we're interested in. In normal game, we have the ability to pick our ship, our version, and our sound. So there were actually two versions of the original Psyvariar released. In 2000, we got the first one with the interesting subtitle Medium Unit. And in 2003, they released another version called Revision. And our first option goes and reflects that. So the Axiom Mu is the ship from Medium Unit, and the Axiom R is the ship from the Revision version of the game. There is also a third ship available right now, but this is a DLC ship, the Blanche from Psybattler, which we will not be covering today at least. I want to go and focus more on the game itself. So for our purposes, we'll start out with the Axiom Mu. Once you've selected your ship, you get to select your version of the game, either the original Medium Unit or the Revision version. We'll go ahead and stick to Medium Unit just so we can cover the basis of what the game has to offer, although there are some fun changes that Revision makes. Now, one of the new things about Delta is a new sound set. So you can play the game with either the sound and music from Medium Unit, the music from Revision, and lastly, there's a new set of music, the Delta, which we want to listen to because it's a really awesome soundtrack. Once you've selected all three of these settings, you can press start and dive right in. So Psyvariar Delta is a vertical scrolling shoot 'em up. Here we are starting Area 1, Earth. But one of the things that makes Psyvariar rather unique is it has a really awesome graze mechanic. So as you graze bullets, you'll generate something called buzz. And each one of those buzz points is worth experience. You also gain experience for destroying enemies as well, but you can gain a ton of experience from basically buzzing enemy bullets. And one thing that's unique is as you actually level up, you'll get a couple seconds of invulnerability every time you level up. In certain scenarios that will even allow you to dive into all these massive waves of bullets and level up really, really fast. It's a really neat mechanic. So the first stage is actually very short. There's not even a boss available to it. But then we come to a stage select, and that's one of the things that I think is really awesome. So as I mentioned, there's a level mechanic to the game itself. As we destroy enemies and buzz bullets, we gain levels. And not only do your levels increase your weapon power, but it also changes the look of your ship and can unlock additional stages. So right now we only have stage 2A and 2B available. If we scored enough points and gotten a high enough level in the first stage, we would have an option for stage 2C as well. We'll just take stage 2A as it's also the easiest one. As far as other mechanics we have, so there is a bomb that will destroy the enemies on screen as well as give you buzz for all the bullets you happen to clear with it. So that's one way. If there's a lot of bullets on the screen that you can't necessarily graze them all, you can still get quite a bit of buzz off of those bullets. So as you notice, our ship has already changed appearance. And that's due to the levels that we've managed to hit. So another mechanic that we have, or rather that the original game has, is this spin mechanic, where moving back and forth you can spin your ship. It basically focuses your attack as well as creates some momentary focus movement so you can more easily dodge bullets. Fortunately, one of the additions of one of the home versions of Psyvariar that, of course, Psyvariar Delta follows is the ability to just press a button to go and use that spin focused movement, basically, as it were, as it would be a pain to try and like wiggle back and forth so precisely that you could dodge between these bullets. So especially using the spin ability, we were able to make quick work out of the boss for stage 2A, and we move on. So in Psyvariar Medium Unit, there are a total of 6 stages that you go and play through. Or rather, that you will play through. Of course, depending on how well you do, those 6 stages will be different, but the point is you'll see a total of 6 stages. In Revision, the number of stages you see are dependent on your level. So if you're not doing so hot, you'll only play 4 stages, but if you're doing really well, you'll get up to 8 stages, giving you great options for a massive score and, well, being able to go and enjoy and play the game for that much longer. I think that's a really awesome mechanic. And that's one of the things that I really like the most about Psyvariar, is that awesome and unique stage progression the game happens to have, that's all based on this Graze leveling system, which I really, really like. I'm really enjoying this title, and it's kind of a pity I actually haven't tried it out. So the other titles that Success are known for are all in the Cotton series of games. So that's where, if you're familiar with them for shoot 'em ups, that's probably why, since they were released the Cotton series that came out on the TurboGrafx, the Famicom, the Genesis, all those like back in the day, then the ones that also came out later for the Saturn and the Dreamcast. This was an arcade title that they went and released originally on like a Taito platform. I can't remember exactly which one it was. So it was something different from what they'd done in the past, as it's not a magical girl flying on her broom. And really, the mechanics that they introduced to this one are so neat to me. I absolutely love this. Wah! Yeah, the enemies are definitely getting hot and heavy. So as far as the Delta remake, so part of it is the new HUD, and I really do love what they have as far as the HUD is here. You've got a player close-up, the score of the various stages. When you have bosses on the stage, you've got like their health, as well as how much time you have to defeat them. On the bottom, you have the player status, where you have your experience, how close you are to the next level, the amount of experience points that the buzz is gaining you. By the way, the buzz experience goes down when you're fighting bosses, because there are all these massive bullets. They don't want you leveling up big time against the bosses. You also have a little timer that shows you how much invincible, well, it says invisible, but how much invincible time you have when you level up. All those awesome, neat touches like really help put together an awesome, awesome package. So as far as minus flavors are concerned, well, the game is a little on the short side, but that just, in the way, it actually kind of works out better that way, as you can just finish up a run and just dive right back into it, and it just feels good to do so. The game can also occasionally feel pretty chaotic when you've got all your shots on the screen and tons of enemy shots, even though you have a super small area that you're using, or rather your hitbox is basically just a 1x1 pixel. It's still occasionally like possible to lose yourself and die when things get chaotic, especially against bosses where you aren't gaining the experience from the buzz and leveling up, having that momentary invulnerability all the time. Then, not really a minus flavor, but depending on your preference as a gamer, the Graze mechanic might not be your cup of tea. So if you don't like bullet hells that depend on a Graze mechanic, this game probably isn't for you. But for plus flavors, if you do like that kind of thing, the buzz system this game has is amazing. I absolutely love the idea of leveling up by grazing the enemy bullets, having that momentary invulnerability so you can graze even more bullets and get even stronger. It's really fun to make use of that way. The soundtrack is also amazing. On the LE for this version that released in Japan and was available for pre-order in the US as well, they have an LP, a record of the soundtrack, and it would definitely be awesome to have. And then there's the level base, or your level-based stage progression, where depending on your level you have access to, you'll go and see like different stages or even different numbers of stages. So all in all, there we have it. Psyvariar Delta served up for your enjoyment. If you're a fan of vertical scrolling bullet hells, then this is a title that I highly recommend checking out. And if you're interested in even giving those type of titles a shot, this is one that I could highly, highly recommend. As in my short time with it, I think this is an incredible game. Alright, well, that'll just about wrap things up for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, I want to thank you so much for coming out and joining me this week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.